In this video, I'm going to show you how to automatically assign a budget code to a purchase order spreadsheet or a purchase order summary. Specifically, we're going to use GPT for Sheets to analyze a row in a purchase order summary or purchase order spreadsheet and give us the correct budget code for that purchase. So let's take a look at my purchase order spreadsheet. And here we have my purchase order spreadsheet with a PO number, a vendor invoice number, a vendor, a description, a department, some prices, and some different values. And I want to assign the correct budget code to each and every line on this spreadsheet. And in order to do that, first things first, I need to figure out what's actually relevant for me assigning the budget code. And in our case today, that's going to be the description and the department. So first things first, we're going to get the most relevant information from the spreadsheet into one cell using a normal concatenate formula. And we're going to apply this to all the rows. Now that that's in there, we can run an AI analysis on each and every row. In order to access AI in our spreadsheet, we're going to have to use the GPT for Sheets Chrome extensions. So in your Google Sheet, you're going to go to Extensions, and you're going to click GPT for Sheets and enable GPT functions. Now that that's there, I actually have access to the GPT functions in my spreadsheet, and I can run AI on particular rows or run AI on a cell and then run AI on that cell and do deeper and deeper analysis from there. So let's start running it. And first things first, we want to actually give it a prompt. So we're going to say equals GPT. And now we can use the GPT functions. And I'm going to give it a prompt. In order to give it a prompt, I need to put quotes in. Remember the quotes? It's so easy to forget. Quote, assign a budget code to this purchase order based on description and department. Choose from these codes. And now I'm just going to give it a period. And we need to close our quotes. And I can say comma, and I reference the cell that I wanted to do the analysis on. And that cell is L. Right? That's L, that's column L. So I'm going to say L2 in this particular case. So comma space L2, and then close the brackets and run the function. Remember, we had $12.27 in credit when this starts. So at the end, we can see how much it costs to run 100 lines. So 6,100 office supplies and materials. Looks great. So it runs the analysis pretty accurately, I'd say. Office supplies, printer, pen. Yeah, looks good to me. So now I'm going to run this analysis on all 100 rows of my purchase order history. And away it runs. While this runs, we can talk a little about GPT for Sheets. It is obviously a very cool tool that allows you to do a lot of analysis in a very convenient and short way without a whole bunch of copy pasting. I particularly like it for budget code analysis. It's also really useful for tailoring marketing content or tailoring any communications to a particular user that you have information on. And then really fun for just running categorization analysis like this, right? So let's say you want to, add a custom field to all your tickets posthumously. You can run the GPT for Sheets against all of your existing tickets, and then that custom categorization is available for your full ticket history, and then you can run reports on it. So you can do like huge levels of analysis really, really quickly, really, really cheaply. And yeah, things that in the past you just wouldn't have bothered to do, you can now do with GPT for Sheets. So I really like it. Now let's take a look. Looks like it's filled out all the values. Fabulous. Looks good. So we've gotten our values for all the different things, and now we know our budget codes for all the different lines. It could take a minute to show how many credits you spent, but this will work out to about 70 cents. So great, 75 cents. I think if somebody from your finance department has to go through and check the budget codes and all the different purchases this month, it costs them more than 1 cent per row. In fact, this is probably something that takes somebody all day, if not all week, to do, and it's costing the company hundreds of dollars. So, fantastic. Problem solved, all good. But I'm sure within your company, the finance person will say, oh, that's very nice, but what you don't recognize is there's a lot more that goes into it than just assigning a budget code. We still need to make sure some things are huge projects that apply across multiple budget codes. And we also need to check for fraud and various other things. We'll say, okay, great. We still need you to do that. But we can save an awful lot of time by just having you confirm all the budget codes rather than having to go through and assign them one by one. And then if you need to flag a certain row or flag a certain topic because it's a concern, then of course, that's why we have outstanding finance people like you to do that. That being said, we can help them out a little bit with that too. So we're going to give it an additional piece of context here. And we're going to say, when a purchase looks suspicious, fraudulent, or does not fit in the existing budget code, respond with WTF. We'll now let this run on all 100 rows. And so we expect this to cost us a little bit more credits because we essentially added another 2 lines of context to our prompt. And so, yeah, it's going to cost a few cents more to run 100 lines. But I think we'll all appreciate the extra little nuance and the extra little bit of value. And you sort of get the hang of this, right? You get pretty good at writing very short prompts, reading as little information as possible with a few fail safes. And that's what you're aiming to do. Now, of course, you can make really long prompts and really complex analysis, but then that's going to cost you more credits. And I think what we love so much about GPT for Sheets is that it works out to less than a cent a row to run these analysis, right? It's just so cheap. But considering how cheap it is, I'm sure you wouldn't mind actually spending 3 cents a row to have a more nuanced approach. Okay, so you can see it's ran, looks fantastic. We got a few errors in there and a few WTFs that the finance department can now go and review. Free gold Rolexes for watches that for everyone that I like, or a multi-departmental project. Great, we can have our finance people look at those in details and flag them specifically for us. And then the rest of those, they can just double check. Does that look right? Does that look clean? Does that look right? Yep. Okay, looks great. And we're going to save our finance team a ton of time here. In fact, you're probably going to save a lot of administration teams a lot of time here and improve the overall quality of your service and analytics because now it's worth your time to go back and look at old tickets and look at old purchase orders and run the analysis that you always meant to do. Or a lot of times what comes up is you make some sort of change and you say, hey, did that change work? And you say, well, I don't know. We never measured this before. Now you can use GPT for Sheets to go back posthumously, measure that thing, and then see if that measurement has improved. So give it a try. Thanks for watching. Take care. Good luck. If you need any help setting this up for your organization, link to my calendar below and we can have a chat. Bye.